Still recommend a Wii U Pro controller. It's actually a really good controller. Let's get going with AM2R once again. So I hit a brainwave off screen and realized where I was supposed to go. It was really stupid. But it did require the high jump boots, which we only just acquired. So down here we had this strange little box thing, but that's not the important part. The important part is we can reach up here. And perhaps it is here, or beyond this save point, where we will find the remaining Metroids. This certainly looks like a Metroid nest. And indeed, these are some pretty large rooms for Metroids to hang around in. So let's go and murder the bastards. And let's not think about the implications of Samus basically murdering children of an endangered species. I mean, to be fair, they are a very dangerous predatory species, to the point where even the larvae are deadly. Now this map square here says that there's an item hanging around. I wonder where it could be. Past that wall that has absolutely no indication that you can pass through it, of course. But it's worth it, because, again, more health, more energy tanks are always worth it, in my book. Not a lot of great footing in this room, which, of course, is going to make fighting the Metroid in it that much harder. Come on, there you are. Can we get him? No, we can't. Sometimes it's possible to get a sneak attack on a Metroid before it actually spots you and starts the fight, but not always. Given the crappy footing in here and all Alpha Metroid's tendencies to hang out near the ground, this is one of those cases where it's easier to hang out in the damaging thorns and just shoot upwards. With the various suit and 4 energy tanks already, it's not that bad, at least. In fact, we didn't even take enough damage to not recover to full once the Metroid is dead. I like filling in the map squares, but technically speaking, you don't actually need to. For this game, there's no record of map completion percentage for this game, so you really don't have to bother yourself. It may be another episode or two before I realize that. Alright, our last Metroid of the area. I feel like there's something different about him, but I can't quite place my toe on it. He went down like a chump, at least. So that's all the Metroids gone from this neighborhood. Let's fill out the map squares for absolutely no reason. It doesn't affect the ending image or anything. And let's get out of here. Wait a minute. Oh, that's not good. That's no good. So this is the next stage. You might say this is the teenage form of the Metroid, the Gamma Metroid. They're considerably more dangerous. They have this electric arc attack that is rather difficult to avoid if you're already standing right there in front of them, or if, like their younger brethren, they decide to hang out close to the ground. They do an even better job of covering their weak points than their alpha brethren did. Fortunately, the electric arc is basically 180 degrees, and it can get you. It does start a little behind the Gamma Metroid, but but it's not too difficult to avoid. And all in all, it's not too difficult to step up. It's just a sign to let you know the Metroids are starting to get serious. They're sending their whiny teenagers after you. So, let's see where, finally, that earthquake has opened up, and where we can explore some more. Let's get out of this Hydro Temple. We've spent quite enough time here. I'm sure we'll be back at some point. There's that missile pickup that I may or may not have forgotten about, at least. And maybe there's stuff in the ceiling that we just don't have the time or the patience to reach with the spider ball right now. Obviously, those are the sorts of pickups you want to avoid if you're going for a speedrun of this game. Let me talk about speedrunning this game a bit. Like most Metroid games, you gain different ending images based on how fast you complete the game. It has nothing to do with item percentage, it has nothing to do with map percentage, it is purely based on how fast you reach the ending of the game from beginning the game. There are 3 different endings. The first one, the one you will most likely get on your first playthrough, is one you get for taking over 6 hours to complete the game. The second one, the cutoff is at 4 hours, and the last and best one is shown when you complete the game under 2 hours. I do plan to try and get the best ending image, though obviously not with this playthrough. I'll probably do a bonus stream of sorts after the end of the normal LP to just see if I can do it. I've been practicing. I'm not doing so hot so far, but I'm sure with a little bit more practice I can pull it off eventually. So now that we've spent entirely too much time getting that missile tank, something that would surely disqualify me from any proper speedruns, let's get the hell out of this hydro station and move on. You may recall there was some lava here before, and if we had tried to go down here through the lava, we would have found a block of stone preventing us from proceeding any further. But now we can just go ahead, move straight along, because again, somehow the Metroids are inextricably linked to SR388's geography. And there's something about this. I hate this missile tank. I spent hours trying to find it the first time. That little dot was driving me crazy. And of course, since it's hidden behind a piece of scenery, you're not going to find it by just bombing everywhere and finding the destructible block. Hate that tank. So let's head into what looks like our next Chozo Temple. There's plenty of destructible blocks here and plenty of decently hardy enemies. And a new type of block that we cannot get through yet. If you're a Metroid veteran of any sort, you will probably recognize those types of blocks and know precisely what we have to do in order to destroy it. Said item is, in fact, a new addition that this fan remake has added to the game. We definitely can't get through those yet. Thankfully, this is just normally destructible by the normal dinky power beam, so... It's a lot of sand to shoot through. It's usually worth it because usually you can find expansions right at the bottom corners. And then you just have to climb or shoot your way back out. It's nice that the missiles have splash damage in this Metroid. Those punks with the shells you can't really do anything about yet. Can't go up there. Seems the only path forward is through all this sand. And beyond this red door is, as we've come to expect, another Chozo statue with our next fantastic item. I love the space jump. I love jumping infinitely. Who doesn't love jumping infinitely in side-scrolling platforms? Let's get... hello? So in yet another AM2R edition, we are faced with a boss straight after collecting our space jump, the Torizo. I'm not sure where the origin of the name Torizo came from, since it seems to be born from corrupted Chozo statues or something. This one acts quite a lot like the Torizo in Super Metroid did. He just stalks around the room, he jumps backwards and tosses those energy pellets. He has this additional blue claw energy attack that I am terrible at dodging, even though it should be pretty easy. Especially since he does it every time after he jumps back. Torizo also speeds up the more he's damaged. But you just gotta shoot him in the head enough times. And he's done. So let's go ahead and make our way out. Samus? Samus? Holy shit. Holy shit, he has a jetpack, guys. Holy shit. And there are spikes coming up out of the floor. You see what's happening here. The game is forcing us to use our newly acquired upgrade, throwing us right into the deep end. Yup, soon the entire floor is going to be covered in spikes, and we have no safe footing except for these tiny platforms that are just not enough. We have to work our way through the air and take pot shots at the flying jetpack Torizo whenever we can. As you might have guessed, this boss fight was not in the original Metroid 2. This is a completely new addition for the fan remake, and it is, if you'll pardon my French, kinda fucking awesome. I should have been a lot smarter about destroying those pellets for energy and missile pickups. But mostly I was just trying to survive. Also, for some reason, I was having some sort of, I'm not gonna say controller issue, but for some reason I was having difficulty climbing to the upper half of the room with the space jump. Like the space jump in every Metroid, there's a sense of timing it to it. You can't just mash the jump button and expect to get to where you want to go. There's a sort of rhythm to it. Yikes, things are getting pretty hairy. But it's all good. Flying Torizo is down, and we can finally safely exit the room with our new jumping forever space jump. That was probably the coolest boss fight that has been added to the game. It's all downhill from here, folks. Nah, just kidding. We still got a lot of good game ahead of us, but that surprise new boss fight with its surprise second phase that forces you to take to the air and basically dogfight as well as you can in a Metroid game. Yeah, that's a highlight. Map's telling us there's a missile expansion in here. I mean, not necessarily a missile expansion, just an expansion of some kind. And whew, after that kind of excitement, I think we need a break. So let's just go ahead and cut things here, and next time we'll explore the industrial complex and see what lies in store.